Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall has successfully challenged federal regulations that he argued unfairly targeted the state's farmers here in the great state of Alabama. Specifically, the legal action opposed policies from the Biden administration that allegedly increase operational costs for farmers through environmental and energy mandates. Marshall emphasized that the ruling protects Alabama farmers from burdensome regulations, helping them continue their vital contributions to the state's economy. It's a big win on, as Marshall calls it, Biden's war on farmers. Quote, the Biden-Harris administration's failed attempt to coercively collective bargain on Alabama farmers is yet another example of why Americans voted them out. So forcing collective bargaining on Alabama's farmers, not going to happen under Steve Marshall's watch. He's staying on top of that. Another win for Marshall there against the Biden administration.
Number 6.
A loser vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris gave a speech to her supporters, her first speech to her supporters, after the 2024 election, and it was bad. Well, let's put it that way. She was encouraging them not to give up despite the loss during a live stream aimed at thanking her supporters. Many apparently felt that they were disheartened and frustrated afterwards. Harris's brief speech lacked a clear call to action, but noted her commitment to the causes central to her campaign, including women's rights, democracy, and opportunities for all Americans. I think she looked like she was drunk, but what do I know? And this whole thing about democracy, can you stop talking about this? Because A, it's not in danger, and B, the people who thought it was a major issue voted for Donald Trump. Yes, he won that voting group.
Number 5.
So, some peace in the Middle East as Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire agreement brokered by the United States and France to halt ongoing hostilities. Just because France has come up here, let me mention something. France and the UK have both hinted that they might be interested in sending troops to Ukraine if America pulls out. And that's supposed to scare us. At the same time, I'm maybe that's a reason to pull out. I don't know. The deal is designed to isolate Hamas in Gaza while allowing for humanitarian assistance, addressing regional security concerns, and according to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, it allows Israel to focus on the Iranian threat. It will give Israeli troops a breather, and it will increase pressure on Hamas. The sort of split fight going on here benefited Hamas and Iran by proxy. But now they've wrapped that up, and they'll put their attention back on Hamas.
Number 4.
Damian LaRon McDaniel III. He's a 22-year-old. He has been charged in the mass shooting at the Hush Lounge in September in Birmingham. He has now been charged with other crimes, and that's bad. Yeah, that's really, really bad. This guy was a menace. It's bad enough what he did. He left 4 dead and 17 injured. He's now facing charges for another series of violent crimes in Birmingham, spanning multiple months. And they've now connected him to 5 separate incidents with charges including 11 murders and 29 injuries. McDaniel now has been charged with killing 4 people in another Birmingham mass shooting in July and an additional man during a burglary in August. I mean, this guy, is he a serial killer? Good Lord. The guy is responsible for 11 dead people, 29 injured. Thank God he's off the street. Finally.
Number 3.
President-elect Donald Trump's plans for the border are becoming more clear, as if we didn't know what they were already. The media is acting like this is outrageous or scary. But here it is. He plans to use military resources for mass deportations, deactivate the CBP1 app that people use to say asylum and then walk across the border, utilize military aircraft, and deputize the National Guard to round up illegal immigrants. The media and their Democrats, again, are freaking out about this, raising legal questions and asking, can you do this? Can you do this? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can do this. Legal experts say, hey, you can do this. It may violate constitutional norms, but it doesn't violate the law. So that's an interesting take right there. By the way, didn't they use the National Guard to get like 50 illegal immigrants out of Martha's Vineyard? And weren't liberals out there cheering and waving bye to them?
Number 2.
Alabama pro-life leaders are advocating for legislation to classify embryos created through in vitro fertilization, IVF, as children, following a state Supreme Court ruling granting embryos personhood. This has raised concerns among fertility clinics and with patients about the potential legal risks for handling embryos, including during procedures where embryos might be unintentionally destroyed. There's also procedures where they are absolutely intentionally destroyed after the fact. Now, that all said, this is going nowhere. Not a single lawmaker that I have talked to has said there is any chance of this stuff where they say the fertilized eggs will be declared people. No one is talking about that now. This is a made-up issue. A fringe group, a small group of very well-intentioned individuals feel this way, but they do not have the stroke to get the law changed. It's not changing.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
In response to Donald Trump's tariff threats, China, Mexico, and Canada are appearing to prepare for potential economic retaliation. That's how these negotiations go. Donald Trump says, I'm gonna this. And the world goes, oh yeah? Well, we'll this. And he says, okay, then do that. And then they say, never mind, let's make a deal. And we're in the second phase of this. Look at NATO in his first term. I mean, this is the perfect way to look at this. We're going to pull out of NATO. That's what we're going to do. If you guys don't spend more money, we're going to pull out of NATO. Oh my God, the world order will end. I can't believe he's going to pull out of NATO. And then the rest of the world says, okay, fine, we'll start spending more money on our national security as our agreement with you says we're going to do. And America will stop having to carry all the freight for the rest of the world. Now, that doesn't change anything about our military spending. It just makes them up theirs, which makes NATO stronger. That's what this is. Okay? The attempt right now to bake them back down on tariffs and other things, not going over well. China's Ministry of Commerce has expressed its readiness to impose counter tariffs on U.S. goods, particularly targeting American agricultural exports, while also warning that Trump's trade policies could lead to significant global economic destabilization. Mexico, through its economic minister, has signaled that it would mirror U.S. tariffs as well, which could increase inflation, which that's not really what inflation is, but there you go. It could increase cost for the consumer. That's not inflation. Inflation is what happens when the government prints a bunch of money. And that's what actually happens. But either way, they also say this could disrupt trade relations, particularly in industries like agriculture and manufacturing, heavily rely on cross-border trades. Canada, facing the possibility of additional tariffs on its exports, is strategizing with provincial leaders to strengthen their position through international collaborations and trade diversifications, particularly with European and Asian markets. But Trudeau is calling for unity. Let me just tell you something here real quick. Stop doing the things Donald Trump wants you to stop doing, and we can go back to where you benefit greatly from your relationship with the United States. That's all that has to happen here. And that is what's going to happen. This is a threat. It's not an empty threat, but it is a negotiation. It is a tactic. And I do not believe any tariffs will actually be put into place. But it's a threat. It's a threat to do so. And we'll continue to monitor it right here on WVNN and all over the state. So keep it locked right here, right now. Get your thoughts in. Get your questions in for 10 with him. Get your turkeys in. You can do that as well. Very simple. Talk or text 866-494-WVNN. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.